Hello, and welcome back to Axolotl Tries, now known as the In the Yard Reviews. Today, we are looking at the Rustic Engineman's Locum and Carriage Workshops, London, Brighton and South Coast Railway E2. What are the E2s? The E2s are a class of 10 060 locomotives built between 1913 to 1916. The first 5 batch of the locomotive, ranging from 100 to 104, were built with normal 1,200 gallon tanks, with the later 5 being built with the extended tank variants that could hold 1,256 gallons of water. These E2s were numbered from 105 to 109. Now let's get to a brief history. The London, Brighton and South Coast Railways E2 were designed by Launcesell Billington and built at Brighton Works between 1915 and 1916. The second batch of 5 were delayed by the Great War. The first 5 of the class were built with rectangle side tanks, but the second 5 were given extended side tanks to give them greater water capacity. The E2s were distinctive in their appearance in 2 ways: is in their running plate, which dropped at both ends. The E2, the second batch extended tanks, gave them the iconic look. They were designed to supplement the London, Brighton, South Coast Railway straddled the E1s, which by that time were becoming underpowered for the load that they were being moved. Because of their relatively small bunkers, the E2s were relegated to short-haul goods services and piloting duties at various depots throughout the LB&SCR system. 2 of the class were used on trial on push-pull services, but due to their inadequate coal supply, these were abandoned that same year. These engines proved useful at their task, but eventually their time came, and throughout the early 1960s, all 10 were withdrawn and scrapped, with none surviving into preservation, or known as the second golden age of steam. I do also want to apologise if I butchered any words, but I'm not good at it. So let's take a look at the liveries now. As we're the one looking here, we're looking at the passenger brown, or known as London Brighton's umber brown. But if I go across, also you see the E2's predecessor, the E1, in marsh umber. What this livery is supposed to be like. I have noticed that the liveries, the brown livery on the E2 is more brighter than the actual umber brown. But that's most likely what the E1 is wearing is more possibly accurate than the umber livery. But the E2s may or may not have wear umber. We have to see when Caledonian Works release their E2 pack. The next livery we're going to have a look at is the goods brown, that the E2s most likely wore during their Southern Railway days. I do like the nice, neatly lime brown black livery, but it does seem a bit plain compared to the brown livery. Now we're going to take a look at the Southern Goods black livery. This is what the E2s would have been put in the early days of the Southern Railway, with a B prefix, Unfortunately, this pack doesn't come with the E2s with their Southern Railway numbers of 210 number. Only the B prefix, like B105, and there's no Southern livery that has 2105, unfortunately, for example. But I do have to quote Rustic Engineering's excellent 3D modelling on the crew, because you can, if I zoom closer, you can see one of the other Southern Railway designs, London Brighton design, I should say, on the badge. That's pretty neat. The CAD's fully 3D modelled. Oh, and great for the time, but I can't wait to get the Caledonian Works one. Now we have the two BR liveries, with the early and late crest. These are what the E2s would have worn in their final years of their life. Good, but plain. I didn't mean to clip through the wall there. As you see, they have brackets on the smoke box and the rear of the bunker, like the Southern Railway would have, but not on the Southern Railway. It's livery one. That's kind of disappointing, as they would have fitted with the smoke 2 extra smoke box lampines on their smoke box and bunker, like the BR variants, but they didn't. But now we'll have a look, have a look around the cab properly, and do some lamp examples. I'm going to quickly unpause the game so we can look around. So this is the cab, and we are moving. Put handbrake on there. So what we have the regulator, the reverser that unfortunately does not have a reverser gear, and it moves quite fast for a reverser. We have the cylinder cocks, I should say, but they're known as the drain cocks. We got the original air brake that the E2s would have had before getting this component here. We got the vacuum brake, the sounding lever, this universal thing for the Westinghouse that adds a pumping mechanism that I would like Caledonian Works to actually add. Opening windows, known as spectacles, I don't know why. The injectors, the firebox door for shoveling, the dampers, the cab doors, the handbrake, as you saw, and that's basically it. Now we'll take a look at the lamps. As on the BR variant, we got lamp 1. To do the lamps, you go control 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 on the front, and for the rear you keep holding control and press 6, 7, 8, 9, and if I get rid of 9 quickly, 0 for the lamp. But there's also disc. So if I hold down shift and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we get the disc in the front. And if I keep holding down and go 6, 7, 8, 9, and get rid of 9 quickly, and well, not really 9 because there's no red disc in the back. If I also So onto the BR variant, hold W, control shift WQ and R and E, we get the disc on the lamp height, on the smoke box and the rear of the bunker. Okay. Unfortunately these ones in the smoke box and the rear of the bunker with W, Q, R and E cannot be done in lamps. So that's kind of a shame. But now let's take the engine for a drive. So let me just make sure the path is set up for a nice run. This is the point of the video where I will be quiet now, so you can hear the sounds. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!